Welcome to Community Cuts live from Brooklyn, New York. We're blessed with a naval architect and with Ricky James. We're going to go forth and talk about what it is, what it takes to be a naval architect, what kind of education, what you do. And Ricky, I'm going to ask you to take it forward. Ricky?
Thank you very much, Duke. It's a pleasure to be here this evening with our family of Brooklynites who are listening in on what we are speaking about. We are speaking about marine technology and the aspects of naval architecture, marine engineering. And we have a good friend from universities in teaching that profession, naval architecture and in engineering. Dude, mention your name, Harry. I cannot pronounce it, so it is a pleasure to have you here.
That's fine. Thank you, Duke, for having me. Thank you, Ricky, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share this with the community cut audience. My name is Hari. My full name is Hariharan Balasubramanian, and people can address me as Hari. And I started my journey for marine engineering. That's a degree that I earned 2003 back in India. I'm from a very small town, Kumbakonam, in the southern part of India. So after graduation, I went to a shipyard for a year to train myself as a sailing engineer. So I did sail for 7 to 8 years in the commercial ships. The first ship that I sailed as a car carrier, that ship was built in Shinkurishima shipyard in Japan, Himabari. So the ship carries about like 6,000 Lexus cars.
Lexus cars, that is. Yeah.
Yeah. So at that time, the ship was state of the art. When they built that ship, it has like all the bells and whistles that can take care of any type of emergency.
Yep.
So the
What happened to it today? Where is it?
that ship is Felicity Ace, MV Felicity Ace. You all can look it up. You can see that by February 2022, the ship was towed off the coast of Europe and made it to sink because that ship wasn't built to transport EVs.
EVs. Oh.
Yeah, electrical vehicles. So
the ones you pick up and you put into the water.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that ship was carrying electric vehicles, and we all know about the battery fire that is most likely to happen in these vehicles, and it caught fire.
Oh.
And the firefighting equipment and the fixed installations that are fitted in the ship wasn't capable enough to mitigate the fire by electric vehicles. So it is not designed for that.
Right.
And it caught fire, it went out of control, and the crew has to abandon the ship. And
where was it abandoned?
I think it was abandoned off the coast of Spain, I guess.
Spain. I've heard of that. I've heard of that ship being decommissioned.
Decommissioned, and then they towed it out in the Atlantic Ocean, and then they let it sink because the damage was so severe, and the collateral, the insurance is not going to cover it. So,
like a car.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they did.
We were talking over the phone about the issue of your education and how it is that younger people can get a job in this field with studies from your university.
Definitely, yeah. That's the whole point that I'm trying to lead my introduction into that. So after sailing, sailing in that car carrier, my next ships were like LNG ships, liquefied natural gas carriers. Only very few countries in the world are well versed in the technology to build such ships. And the pioneers of that ship building were building the liquefied natural gas carriers were Americans. It was designed, the first 6 ships were designed by the professors from Webb Institute.
Webb.
Webb Institute. And the engineering systems were designed by the professors, marine engineering department professors from SUNY Maritime College in Bronx. And that's where I currently work as an assistant professor. And the ships, those first ships were manned by the Kings Point, United States Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point.
May I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
What made you get into architect, naval architect?
Yeah.
As a child, did you grow up and had that vision, had that
drive,
the drive, your talents, your gifts? You had that in you, and that's why you pursued that education.
I would say it is not like just one factor that drive me into this field.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, there is highly paid job. It's money is there. Yes, when we are all young, we always think about how to get our work compensated with a highly payable job. So that's how we all pursue for when we are young. That is not the only reason. There are multiple factors into it. My mom was my school teacher. She was my science teacher. So she was always pushing me and my younger brother, pushing us to get into the science field. So that is one drive. And then the second one is the place that where I am from. Very little it is known to outside the world. The place that where I am from, it is the Delta region, close to ocean, and it is very famous for the kingdom called the Chola Empire that had a full-fledged navy, and it did the trade with the Greeks in those days. And also on the far east side, they even conquered the present day Singapore to get hold of that strait so that the ships can do some trade without getting interrupted by piracy. And the small kingdoms that are there, they were chasing the ship and they are holding the ship for tax purpose. So to get rid of those pirates and small kingdoms, the kings from my region, Chola Empire, also the Pandya Empire after that, they all had a very good navy. And they can even, there are books that are written about their ships.
Yes, I'm sure.
And they can even steer the ship with 6 to 7 people.
I guess what I'm asking you also, did you have a love for that?
Yes. So
that's what I'm asking.
So growing up in that region, while I'm growing up in that region and getting influenced by that type of legacy, and also my mom was pushing me for a science those input together and a drive for earning more money. So it all come together and made me to pursue a career in naval architecture and marine engineering, particularly in maritime field.
So I'm sorry, let me just ask one question.
Sure enough.
Since you are a professor, right, at Maritime College, right, what would you say to a young person, a young adult, in terms of getting into naval architect work?
Yeah. So for the young high school graduates, those who are trying to build a career where they can earn fast money with some dignified profession, and the profession that everywhere will have some kind of progress in their profession, right? Some kind of growth will be there. But when it comes to maritime, instead of spending like 10 years to reach a position, if you are in a maritime field, you just need to have 3 years to reach the same position and the place that where you can accomplish in some other job, engineering job, particularly on land.
Yes.
So that's one advantage. And those who want, when you are young, you go for this type of profession where you can sail also as well, because maritime college is the best uh, place where you can earn your regular bachelor of engineering degree either in a naval architecture or in mechanical or facilities or in electrical engineering or marine engineering,
Very good.
along with the training that it is provided to get a engineer's license while you are studying in the school for your regular 4-year bachelor's in engineering. Along with that, you will be prepared and to get the engineer's license. So if a engineering graduate from some other school or a college that they are graduating, and the initial start pay will be like the maximum that they can get for a freshman fresh out of college will be somewhere in the range of 60 to 75 grand per year. That is the first step, like a stepstone. Whereas here in the maritime graduates, if you are having a marine engineering or a naval architecture engineering degree with the license, the initial pay will be like 120, 125K per year.
Mm.
So that's where the difference come. And also it in this field, for particularly those high school students that who and their parents who are all listening this, they can get the job not only in the high payable rate, at the same time the growth in the job is the promotion. It's all up to the individual. The more you sail, the more you earn the degree, more you clear the license exam, the higher level license exams, the more earning and quicker promotions.
What you should get into is SANAMI, the Society of Naval Architects and Marine Engineers. They will guide you along your college education and show you exactly what is valuable in this field, like in the shipbuilding, like what type of ship that is required and what is interesting to build, how to repair a ship without actually going to the yard, and how to steer and maneuver through engineering a ship that is at sea, and how to change its course in the midst of naval architecture and the geographical area of the sea. The law of the sea does say that you can only be in a certain area at a certain amount of time and a certain place where you could hold that ship before you have to either move it or stop it there at that point.
So, what kind of education did you have to go through to get to where you are right now?
Okay. So, like I said, I started as a marine engineer, as a ship operator, not as a designer. After 7 years of working at sea, 7 to 8 years approximately, so many dry docks I have seen while I was working also, like uh, Ri- um, Ricky James was mentioning about what are the design aspects of the ship. So that's when the ship is on the dry dock, that's when you are really get to see some systems that are normally in operation that we shut down and try and repair it, particularly the hull, anything that is deteriorated with the hull surface.
Airplane hulls, ship hulls, small crafts, large warships, things that go into space. Those hulls also.
So those surfaces that are outside, they usually immersed under the water. So when they come out, so you need to basic cleaning needs to be done.
Right.
Because of that barnacles that are attached to it will reduce the ship efficiency. rather than those cost like millions of dollars for
Yes,
the
they do.
ship owners
Yes.
just by couple of inches of barnacles, the marine growth that are attached. So in that, when I got keep on exposed to that area, then I realized that okay, I need to learn more in the design aspect, not just as an operator,
Yes.
to be a successful engineer in this maritime field. And I started looking for schools, and I applied for schools, grad schools, and I got admitted in the Florida Atlantic University in Florida here in America, uh, for the ocean engineering. So in the naval architecture is the degree that is given in the undergrad level. New Orleans has a naval architect. Yeah, New Orleans has a naval architecture program. Other than that, up in Michigan, Ann Arbor has the University of Michigan has the naval architecture and marine engineering program.
That is exactly where my nieces go to see the ships in Maryland and also in Norfolk to see the battleships and the ships that are being created in their naval base. That is a good point to take into consideration. The name in Maryland. What is the name of that base in Maryland?
I think it is
Ann Arbor?
That Ann Arbor in Michigan, right?
Michigan, yes.
Michigan.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I think you were talking about Arlington.
Arlington,
Yeah.
that's in
Norfolk,
Norfolk, yes.
close to. The Arlington has the United States Naval Academy.
Yes.
That is another academy that offers this naval architecture in the name of naval engineering. And one another institute other than that in the eastern side of the country, there is a United States Coast Guard Academy
Coast Guard.
that offers the naval architecture and marine engineering program. Out of all these schools in the East Coast, there are three schools that are exclusively present in the region, in and around New York region.
Yeah.
So they Webb Institute, that is in the Glen Cove in Long Island. It is one of the very reputed. It's a private endowed institution. The students should have a high SAT score. Their bar is high. They're in because
SATs,
their intake of the applicants is somewhere between like 25:1, I guess.
Oh.
Something like that, and they take only 24 students per year, if I'm not wrong. Maybe they might have increased. So that's one place that is in Long Island. And another one is if you are not willing to be in the naval architecture, if you want to do only marine operators and policy making in the maritime industry, then there is a United States Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point. So that is another institution that the students can go, but very exclusive one into design. And at the same time, you want to do some kind of graduate level research to pursue your degree. Stevens Institute in New Jersey is offering a naval engineering. They have the facilities with a full-fledged lab infrastructure that can develop the undergrads towards full-fledged designer. The institute where I am working as an assistant professor, it's like a sandwich between designing and the marine engineering operation. So that is the State University of New York Maritime College. It is in Bronx and facing the East River under Throgs Neck Bridge. It is really on the Throgs Neck Bridge, just below the Throgs Neck Bridge. Fort Schuyler is the one that it has been called as. Even the fort is still in functioning, and that is the institute where you can learn a design aspect of a ship, and at the same time you can earn a degree with license to work as an engineer on board the ship. So if anyone from this region can focus on these institute to get into this field. If you are somewhere far away from the place north of the New York metropolitan area, then they can try to get into United States Coast Guard Academy, or they can try to get into University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, or and the most famous one, people, very few people will recognize, MIT has this program. MIT, it used to have a naval architecture. Now they have changed the name. Now the name is Ocean Engineering. Ocean Engineering. So
it's bell divers.
Yes.
Yes.
Ocean engineering is nothing but is also naval architecture and marine engineering, but we call that as a systems engineering. Any man-made object that goes in the ocean, which has to have some kind of engineering principle based on that, only we can build such equipment. So to bring together all such equipment, it's like a different system: electrical, electronics, and a mechanical system by structure, and try and do some kind of a mitigation for failure. So all these...
we did a study on the submersible that went down to examine the hull of the Titanic, and it was crushed, and the people inside of the submersible passed away. They died.
Oh,
that is the study that what he is speaking about.
So there's a lot of growth in this maritime law. My dad was a merchant marine at one point in his life, and he traveled the world. So kudos. There's always been an infinity of just wanting to know more. But I know there's some growth there, and it's excellent. And the young kids, it's my desire that they would know of this field. That's why I asked you to come through. Ricky asked you to come through to help our youth in terms of how, because a lot of us want it. Some of us don't understand it, but it's to be understood.
Mm-hmm. The Department of Labor has a step into with Naval Architect. They are somewhat hesitant to take the application of a naval architect over something, say, as a garbage pick man or something that way. But the naval architect has to go through that issue of Department of Labor in order to get a job, or it's not a good way to go. The way to go is through universities.
So currently what we are facing is a very shortage of naval architecture and maritime ship operating personnel on board the ship. And more in particular, the US government, it's not just because of the present government, it is also the other previous government also emphasized on it. But this present government is very much focused on building the ships in America.
Yes.
So that is like the couple of minutes ago in the starting, I mentioned that one of the crucial technology and one of the very sophisticated technology also was building a liquefied natural gas carrier. Why it is? Because you have to carry it at a negative 156 degrees Celsius, negative 60, negative 161, 62 degrees Celsius. So that is the temperature that you have to maintain on the cargo. And it will be like 150,000 meter cubes. Like that's a lot of quantity.
Tonnage, if you can.
Usually we measure that in meter cubes.
Yes.
Tonnage will be like somewhere around 60,000, the whole ship, 60,000 tons, 70,000 tons, something like that. So that technology was sophisticated technology and very it's like a cryogenic liquid that you are carrying it, and you have to find the right material, and you have to find the strength for that material, and you have to learn about how to put all these systems together.
So when you commuting oil, let's say, those ships have to be correct too.
Yeah.
Right.
So to transport oil, we just take the oil and dump it in the tanks, in the cargo tanks, and we don't worry about it until we reach the delivery port or we reach the wherever the cargo need to be delivered to some other ship. So when you usually the oils are transported in the form of crude oil, there is a reason why it is called crude oil. It in the normal room temperature, it will become like a bitumen, like a tar. It solidifies like a wax. So you just need to heat it just before you deliver it. So you don't have to worry about the temperature that what you are going to handle during the voyage. Whereas this liquefied natural gas is very you are carrying that in a critical temperature of that liquid, because the natural gas cannot occur in liquid state in the atmospheric temperature. You have to bring the temperature down, and the pressure also need to be adjusted, goes by that.
When you're
When you
transferring gas.
when you are transferring gas, because
Yes.
if you try to transfer the natural gas in gaseous state, it is highly inefficient because it is going to occupy larger volume,
Right.
but the quantity in the end is going to be very small. It is not going to make any money for the ship owner.
I see.
The trade will be inefficient.
Going through the straits today, they are watched. The concern to me is, when will we have a free flow of ships in the straits, according to what's happening today?
So let me finish the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
one with the, and then we will go on with this
Very
job.
good.
And right now, the government is looking to revamp that, revitalize the maritime industry of United States. The shipbuilding, particularly the commercial shipbuilding, has fallen to nil, zero. Lately, that they are bringing up with the Philly shipyard, and that too, that Philly shipyard is not completely by America owned or American enterprise. It is given to, it is bought by Hanwha, South Korean shipbuilding industry.
Yep.
Hanwha bought that. The Hanwha Ocean bought it, and they are right now building the small container vessels and some coastal, from coast to coast vessel that can go from the east coast to west coast, or on the east coast itself from Florida to Maine, something like that. So it has occurred to this country that most of the shipbuilding that are happening outside America. So people always blame they say about that they have done something wrong with the Jones Act, because the Jones Act says that in order to do maritime trade in America, you have to have the ship built in America, you have to have the ship operators Americans, and the ship has to be registered to a American port, like how you register your car and your two-wheelers to a port of registration. Like that, you have to register it to one of the American port. So that was the Jones Act, but it wasn't the Jones Act that killed the maritime industry in America, to my understanding, and also most of the people also can agree with me.
You're teaching
Even
properly,
though
I understand.
it was the differentials, the differentials, the subsidiaries that were given to the shipyard, the differentials that are operation and construction differentials that are removed from the shipyard. During the Cold War, the Navy really need to match the strength with the adversary, with the Russian counterparts. Okay, so they have to match up there. The Russians were rolling out their submarines like about 5 to 6 in a year at one point of time. They had like 300 submarines at one point of time. So the Navy and the NATO nation heavily relying on America, so they have to match up with that strength of the during the Cold War. That was the time that the Department of Defense, now we are calling it as Department of War. So before it used to be Department of Defense, that they started pushing all the shipyards in the East Coast and also in the West Coast to build more warships and naval purpose vessels. And while the ship building yards are concentrated on building the commercial vessel, now they have to push these shipbuilding yards to build more Navy vessels.
Yeah.
So that is one way to do that. They removed the government at the time, they removed the differentials, the construction and operation differentials that they offer to the shipyards, so that they will have subsidiaries and low tax to procure the raw material and to use the raw material also. So eventually, at the same time, there is a strong labor union that is also pulling up the wages. And they are trying to bring the wages up, and the wages increase labor through the labor compensation and the removal of the differentials of construction and operation differentials. That killed the commercial shipbuilding.
This happened all over this country, east, west, north.
East, west, and this happened. It is not just over the night this country has lost the shipbuilding capability. It has taken place about 10 to 15 years. Throughout that year, it happened. Within a couple of decades, the complete this country has forgotten the trade of building the commercial vessels, and that continuity had been broken. Once it is broken, and they are heavily relying on the ships that are age-old ships, 50-year-old, 60-year-old fleet is still in operation. Not only it is affecting the commercial shipbuilding, it has started affecting the naval support vessels. Now the Navy has to take contracts with Maersk and some other Crowley, with some other private sector. They have to take the contracts to get the support vessel, because all these naval vessels are gas guzzlers. So you have to keep them in the 50% of the fuel all the time. So in order to supply those huge mammoth ships, those are thirsty for oil and fuel, they need to keep on have a uninterrupted supply chain. And that is provided only by this kind of tankers, huge tankers. And MSC, Marine Sea Lift Command, oilers. But not all the oilers are capable of carrying all the fuel demand or the lube oil demand that are required to keep this naval ships afloat. So they have to get the contract from the private, like Maersk, like Crowley, and other companies that they are working along with the MSC. Why?
You teach this in your school.
Yes.
You would slides.
Yes.
Slide program. That is very, very, very interesting.
We do that in the Ship Design 1 course that we usually conduct that during the spring semester.
Any history in the course?
Yes. The naval architecture, you cannot avoid history to learn naval architecture. Yes, it is engineering.
I eat that up.
Yes, it is engineering, but you have to learn history in this because of the loss of continuity in shipbuilding, and this nation has lost its skill set, particularly. And right now, the nation has realized that. But one can ask a question, okay, this has killed only the commercial shipbuilding. How it has affected now the Navy shipbuilding also? Like it is getting affected. Even the support vessels for the Navy are not there. The current issue current issue that Naval Architect Ricky James just want to show some light on that, how this Hormuz, the blockade in the Hormuz Strait is affecting the maritime. Yes, all these geopolitical conflicts are going to have the immediate effect on the maritime. One particular thing, they want to remove all the mines that are there in the Hormuz Strait.
Yes, they have trouble removing them. I see them every day on the television
Yeah,
talking about the mines that are on the strait, and they do have to get through.
yeah.
So
The strait is
mine safety is another thing in that book.
Yeah, the strait is only 33 kilometers wide. The strait is okay, and this 33 kilometer is there is a traffic separation scheme. There is 11 kilometer on one side, 11 kilometer on the another side, and there will be a buffer zone in between the two. Like how we keep the lanes on the road, you stick to one side of the lane for one direction and the opposite direction. Similarly, you have that, and right now it has been littered with the mines. There are submerged mines, there are
Yes.
floating mines, there are deep on the floor
Landmines, yes.
land mines that are on the seabed. So these mines need to be first cleared off. Even though both the parties are okay, we are not going to attack any of the ships, we are not going to hold the strait, but the volume that the sea mines, just to make sure that the sea mines are not there, just to scan that area, we need at least 10 to 12 demining ships, whereas America has only 4.
Wow.
So
How long do you think that's going to take?
they are shouting some help from the other navies, from their allies, particularly South Korea and Japan, and some of the European countries. They are not as cooperative as, but they are just putting the blame on the decision of why you need to go on war, rather than rectifying it.
So, do you think it's going to take weeks or months? Or what's your?
If with given all the resources to scan the region, if the weather is cooperating, then it can be cleared with the due diligence work by the seafarers. It can be cleared, or at least it can be scanned by 45 days or something like that, to make sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is where why it has affected the Navy support ships. Why it has affected? Because once the Cold War is supposed to climb, they are all claiming that Cold War is done. Let's not say that the Cold War is done. Let's say that the Berlin Wall has collapsed and the USSR has been disintegrated, and try to have a Eastern Bloc country, like a buffer zone between the communist Russia and the progressive Western Europe. So there is a bloc, Eastern Bloc countries have been developed. One major country that was developed out of Yugoslavia, not one, 7 of them were created. Similarly, there are other countries that are created, including the present conflict region, Ukraine.
But then you have all those ships are there.
Yeah.
So you have to maneuver
So
around those ships as well.
At one point, when the Berlin Wall was collapsing, the United States Navy used to have 600 plus ships.
Wow.
600 plus operational ships. They are in operation condition. Right now, United States Navy has only 300 plus ships. One could argue the platform is one thing, but the equipment in the platform has been enhanced, has been sophisticated, has been more technically advanced. Like in some cases, even though the quantity does matter nowadays. So that not only United States have realized that the other nations around the world are paying attention to it. Why? That the first and foremost thing is the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. That is the if Iran is sending about like 2,000 plus missiles concentrated on one region, at least 2 to 3 are slipping in. The Iron Dome uh, it is overwhelming. You are overwhelming the system, even though Iron Dome is the most sophisticated system, more advanced, and seems to be like it is impenetrable. That is what? Impenetrable to what extent? Like you, instead of sending 1,000, if you can that Iron Dome handle 2,000. So it is the same technology that you have on board the ship in an aircraft carrier, particularly that if you are having an aircraft carrier, it is been in the as given your air defense are provided by the aircrafts. You don't need to have a separate air defense missile system for the aircraft carrier. That is how they used to have. But how long it's going to take, how many aircraft that you can put in the air within 5 minutes or 6 minutes, how many aircrafts you can.
You have a window of when and how.
Yeah, if your adversaries are overwhelming that system, that practice, then as good as that this aircraft carrier is not going to defend itself. Apart from that, always there is a aircraft striking group. Along with that aircraft carrier, there is always a striking group, and that comprises of at least couple of submarine, at least four to five destroyers will be there. Early bird destroyers are more powerful. They are all the backbone of the ship, and there will be some kind of a oiler vessel will be sailing with them to provide aviation fuel, to provide other lube oils, and even the provisions for the crew need to be supplied. So, and there are other cruisers will be also there. These cruisers are mainly used to protect the air defense system. They are there to protect the aircraft carrier for using their air defense system. If you have two cruisers and say like you have 40 plus 50 60 plus air defense missile, if the incoming threat is 200, how many ships you need? You need more than at least 2, right? So this is where the number comes into play. And that's the reason that they all have realized now we have to build the ships. The more particularly the ships that they are talking about, like to build a Trump class battle cruise ship, battle cruiser, Trump class battle cruiser. The cruiser is the name, but it is not going to be like World War II gunships. There are more advanced systems
are
there.
Are they going to be remote or are they going to be manned?
No, they are going to be manned. These are manned ships. But the thing is that the urgency of those ships, in order to meet the timeline, and even though if you put together all the shipyards in America to build that, to meet the deadline, it cannot meet the deadline to deliver that ship on time. So now there are talks that are initiated to contact the South Korean shipbuilding ports to build these ships. Now the technology has to be shared.
What I would like to do at another date with you is the Boston Naval Yard and the building of historic ships like the SSS Constitution, the SSS Congress, and those other 7 ships, and also the AWAC that used to be in California.
Okay.
Those subjects I would like to get to you at another time.
Sure. So the lack of industry involvement in this past 40 to 60 years, and that has drastically dropped the job opportunities for naval architecture.
Yeah.
And they started looking for jobs in the other institution. Like I mentioned, naval architecture is a study of systems on board the floating vessel. So the systems, engineering systems are going to be the same. So they got hired in power plants, and they got hired in in the floating like wind turbine construction, floating wind turbine construction,
Wind
or
turbine.
and also the underwater turbines where you can harness the renewable energy from ocean. So there are equipments that you need to build. So they got hired in all these places and started getting into a different field what they are really uh, prepared for, such as designing ships. So now the revitalization of the maritime industry in America is at least people are talking about it everywhere, and they are trying to bring more funding and try to build more ships, bring the shipyard.
Are there any high schools that deals with this, or that
The,
graduate from and learn more about the naval?
There is a school that is in the Saturn Island, I guess, or there is one in the south of Brooklyn. There is an island, so they have a school, high school, concentrate preparing. Their curriculum is more into like getting the jobs on board the ship. They have some kind of vocational program, and we sometimes in the maritime college we used to get graduates from them.
Excellent.
Some graduates from that school, I forgot the school name, so for me, but if you could look it up, there is
Yeah, I'll look it up.
So yes, there are schools in this region. I'm talking about only in this region, so that
Right.
people can benefit about it. And you just need to have a normal STEM program for the high school graduation with a STEM background and with SAT score.
Brooklyn Tech. The
And
engineering in Brooklyn Tech, you go straight into naval architecture.
and you can enroll, you can apply for the school that what I just mentioned, particularly in Bronx. If you are in that region, then State University of New York Maritime College is the best place to get. So we are only talking about the engineering aspect of the maritime, right? Similarly, that Ricky James mentioned about like there is some kind of navigation problem due to the geographical, uh, um, like a topography and the geographical effect and the climatic effect. So sudden change in the weather. So to deal with such, how to take the ship safely from point A to point B, they are the navigators. So that is a separate department. That department is a deck navigation department. They are all deck navigating officers. How you prepare yourself for engineering side of the maritime industry. Similarly, they have the 4-year curriculum to prepare themselves for the deck navigation, and most of them they emerge after they graduate. They gain experience in the industry. They emerge as leaders of some of the leaders and policy makers. So these are the people that who will manage the shipyard. They will overlook as an administrator, as a president of the university, or
U.S. Navy,
president.
into the U.S. Navy,
Exactly.
and go strictly into engineering.
Exactly.
It is a lucrative field.
Yes,
It is easy to get involved. I urge that much more than I do urge in any other field of work. The naval architecture and architecture are combined. Architecture itself, they study the same history, and the questions are the same type of questions which is required to get into a naval academy or a naval university.
Yeah. So right now that we are going to get a lot of naval architecture graduates, and that's because what they are all predicting in next 5 to 7 years, there will be a boom in this shipbuilding industry, and we can already see the groundwork. That is, we can see some movements in the fundamental regions, that they are building some infrastructure, they are building some kind of a policy making they are trying to bring, and so that is going to support the fresh graduates. So once the naval architecture, it's not just designing ships. Even though if you graduate from the naval architecture and you cannot get into any of the shipyard work, or you are going to do some consultancy on your own, if you think that you want to do more in the research area, then you can always go for grad school. That, like I said, like in my career, I went to grad school, I earned my master's and PhD in ocean engineering. Okay. After earning the PhD in ocean engineering, I got hired as a hydrodynamicist. The hydrodynamicist job is like how the naval architects are working with the shipbuilding consultancy, design consultancy, or in the shipbuilding yard where they are working. The hierarchy over there is going to be like a principal naval arch, and then a senior naval arch, a junior naval arch, and assistant naval arch. So this is the hierarchy. Similar to this setup, there is a parallel professionals that will be working in parallel with this group, most of the time outside the ship design yard. Because not to design a ship, you need to have a towing tank facility. You have to create a model on the small scale, and you have to pull or push that model accordingly to depending upon the test, so that you will come to know what type of engine that you need to fit in that ship.
So let me ask you a question, Professor.
Mhm.
If somebody, a young adult, wants to learn more, how can they get in contact with you? Do you have an email? Or...
Oh yeah, definitely. The college website has my name and my email, and I can give.
Well,
I
put
can.
Tell us now, and then we can put it later on in the.
Okay. So my college school email address is hbalasubramanian@sunnimaritime.edu. And that, if anyone can reach out, if they shoot an email, I'm usually very responsive. I won't let it sit in the inbox. Unless and until if it is not in the junk box.
Well, I appreciate that, because we have a lot of. I deal with Brooklyn and love my Brooklynites, young people, but all over. But Brooklyn is where my heart lays, and is where it's at. So I want these young adults, people that's in high school, maybe junior high as well, that's coming up, to have an interest for it, they have a love for it, to get in contact with you.
Sure. Ask them to shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to guide them. Even though if I don't have an answer, I will point them to the right person so that that person can guide.
I'll get to Ricky James, because I know Ricky James has your email. And
I should write to him now and make sure that he gets it also.
So family out there in Brooklyn, we want to say thank you. We're getting ready to go off air, but we want to say thank you to Harry. Thank you, Ricky James. Thank Brooklynites for watching our show. And we are here, and we are going to get the information out to the young adults and to others that wants to at least experience, at least investigate this field. It may be for you, may not be for you. But we're here from Brooklyn, and we're going to put the information out in the chat. All right. Thank you guys for everything that you have done.
Well, thank you for having me.
And I appreciate you very much, Ricky James.
Have a pleasant evening.
Oh, man.